Welcome to the deep dive. Sometimes you stumble across a career path you've literally never even heard of.
Oh, tell me about it.
And that's exactly what happened with this whole V-belt coverer thing.
V-belt coverer.
Yeah, V-belt cover. At first I thought, is that like some kind of, I don't know, sci-fi thing?
Right.
But then I dug into this RoleCatcher guide we've got here, and let me tell you, it's a whole lot more down to earth than it sounds.
It really is fascinating. All these behind-the-scenes jobs most of us wouldn't even think about.
Totally. So basically we're talking about V-belts, those belts you see in engines, machines, all that stuff, moving power around.
Exactly.
And the V-belt cover, they're the ones making sure those belts are in tip-top shape.
Precisely. Picture yourself in a factory setting. Might be a bit noisy. Machines humming.
Oh, definitely.
And your job is running this machine that applies this rubberized fabric onto the V-belts.
Okay, so I have to admit, when I first read that, I was picturing someone just slapping some rubber on there.
Right, like it's that simple.
Yeah. But this RoleCatcher guide, they emphasize manual dexterity like it's some high-level skill.
Oh, it definitely is. Imagine, like, you're wrapping a gift, but it's got to be absolutely perfect. Every edge lined up.
Oh, wow.
Now, do that with industrial strength materials on a fast-moving machine, and you got to make a clean cut after every single rotation.
Whoa.
Talk about pressure. So yeah, steady hands, laser focus. That's the name of the game here.
Makes sense why they call out attention to detail as a major plus in this RoleCatcher guide.
For sure. One tiny slip up and you could mess up a whole production line.
And they don't sugarcoat that either. Like, they're upfront about the downsides, repetitive tasks, potential physical strain. It's all right there.
And I appreciate that honesty.
Me too.
You know?
Give it to you straight.
Exactly. So you, as someone considering this job, you get the full picture.
Exactly.
Now, it doesn't mean these are deal breakers, just something to be aware of.
Right, for sure.
Like that repetition. Some people find it, I don't know, almost calming, a chance to really perfect something.
Yeah, like getting in the zone.
Exactly. And the physical part, well, that's where proper training and all those safety precautions come in, which they really emphasize in the guide.
Yeah, huge emphasis on safety, which is always good to see.
Absolutely.
But okay, so let's say you've got the skills. You're safety conscious. What's the career path look like for a V-belt coverer?
Well, that's where this RoleCatcher guide gets really interesting.
It does.
It's like they mapped out your potential future, different levels you can reach, entry level, junior V-belt coverer, all the way up to senior.
Yeah, they don't just like vaguely describe it.
Not at all. They've got these example profiles, like a day in the life of a senior V-belt coverer.
Yes. I love
That makes it real, you know?
Totally. It's one thing to say, oh yeah, there's potential for advancement. It's another to read about some pro who worked their way up. Now they're the go-to person, training new folks, troubleshooting all the crazy problems.
Right. That's the kind of stuff that makes you think, hey, maybe a factory job isn't so bad after all.
Seriously. There's real leadership potential here. You could go from just running the machine to optimizing the whole process.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening, they're hooked, ready to polish up that resume. What about the interview? Because RoleCatcher does not disappoint.
Oh, no, they went all out. They have this whole section. Nailing the interview blew me away.
It's seriously impressive.
Like having a cheat sheet. They list out 10 specific questions they might ask you.
And not just the usual, tell me about yourself fluff.
Oh, no, they go deep. How do you ensure the quality of the V-belt covers you produce? That's the kind of question that separates the pros from the amateurs.
Absolutely. And they don't just hit you with a question. They have links to even more deep dives on how to answer each one effectively.
It's brilliant. They really want you to be over-prepared.
Right. Like they're setting you up for success.
Exactly. Because walking into that interview feeling confident, knowing your stuff, that can make all the difference.
It's like they're saying, look, we're not just going to throw you in the deep end and hope for the best.
Right. They've got your back. And that's really important because
It is.
a career path, it's not always a straight line, right?
Oh, absolutely not. It's more like one of those winding roads.
Exactly. You might hit a detour. You might decide to take a scenic route.
Right, exactly.
And that's where those transferable skills come in handy.
Oh, yeah. They talk about those a lot in this RoleCatcher guide.
Because the things you learn as a V-belt coverer, those skills, they don't just disappear if you decide to switch lanes later on.
Exactly. Problem solving, working under pressure, that whole attention to detail thing we talked about.
It's gold in any industry.
It really is. It's like universal job skills.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher actually connects those dots for you. Remember those related careers links we were both clicking through earlier?
Oh, yeah. I think I ended up somewhere in, like, tire building at one point.
Tire building, wow.
Yeah, and then there was something about a coagulation operator. I don't even know what that is.
Sounds kind of intense.
Right. But that's the cool part. Like, it opens your mind up to possibilities you might not have even considered before.
Exactly. And it shows you that even if V-belt covering isn't your lifelong passion,
Right.
this experience could be like a stepping stone to something else amazing.
I love that. It's like expanding your horizons, you know.
Exactly. And speaking of horizons, they have this whole section on industry trends.
Oh, yeah. They're not just stuck in the present.
No, they're looking ahead, and one of the big ones they highlight is automation.
Okay, yeah, that's a big one everywhere these days.
Right. You hear automation and you might think, oh no, the robots are coming for my job.
It's that whole robots versus humans thing.
Exactly. But RoleCatcher, they present it more like a challenge and an opportunity.
Okay, yeah, I like that better.
Because it's not necessarily about replacement, it's about adaptation.
So, like, how do those skills we were talking about, how do they fit into this more automated future?
Exactly. Think about it. As technology changes, the role of a V-belt cover might change too.
Instead of just operating the machine, you're programming the machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're the one making sure those robots are putting out quality work.
So you become like the robot supervisor.
Exactly. And all those core skills we talked about, that attention to detail, problem solving, understanding the materials.
They become even more important, not less.
Absolutely. Plus, let's not forget, there's still that human element.
Right. Robots can't do everything.
Exactly. Machines are great at repetitive tasks, but they don't have intuition.
That gut feeling.
Right. A robot's not going to spot a tiny flaw that could cause a major problem down the line.
That's a good point.
So it becomes this partnership, humans and machines working together.
I like it. Teamwork.
Exactly. And that ability to collaborate, to communicate effectively with both humans and machines, those are going to be highly valuable skills.
So for anyone listening who's thinking, hey, this V-belt cover thing, it sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Don't let all this talk about automation scare you off.
No way.
Embrace it.
See it as a chance to level up, to become like the V-belt coverer of the future.
I love it. The one who can bridge that gap between like human know-how and all this cutting-edge tech.
Exactly. You're not just a V-belt coverer, you're a robot whisperer.
Robot whisperer. I'm putting that on my business card.
Right. Seriously, though, it's all about adaptability, being open to learning new things, and this RoleCatcher guide, they really emphasize that.
They really do. It's not just about like, here's the job, now go do it.
Right. It's about giving you the tools and the knowledge to actually thrive in a changing world.
Okay, so we've talked about transferable skills, industry trends, but there's one more thing I got to bring up.
What's that?
Quality control.
Uh-huh.
Because it comes up again and again in this RoleCatcher guide.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about operating a machine. It's about understanding why each step matters, taking pride in your work.
Yes. It's like they're saying, look, we're not just churning out belts here, we're creating essential components.
Right. These belts, they impact other machines, other industries. It's a ripple effect.
It's all connected.
Exactly. And that attention to detail, that commitment to quality, that's another one of those transferable skills.
Makes you a valuable asset no matter where you go.
Exactly. And you know what else I thought was really interesting? They have this whole section on alternative titles.
Oh, yeah. Like secret code names for V-belt coverer.
Right. It's like, who knew there were so many different ways to say it?
It's like they're letting you in on a secret handshake, you know?
Because when you're searching for jobs online, knowing these alternative titles can make all the difference.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine missing out on your dream job just because they called it something slightly different in the job posting.
Exactly. But RoleCatcher's got you covered. They've thought of everything.
They really have. It's honestly impressive, the level of detail they go into.
And it all comes back to this idea of empowering you, the job seeker.
Right. Giving you the information you need to make informed decisions about your career.
Exactly. Because ultimately, you're the one in the driver's seat.
And RoleCatcher, they're like your trusty GPS, you know?
I like that. Guiding you along the way, but you decide where you want to go.
Exactly. It really is. Kind of makes you want to go apply for a V-belt cover job yourself.
Right.
But before we get too carried away, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the robot in the factory.
Ah, yes, automation. Big topic.
Huge. We've talked about how it's changing things, but what does that actually look like for the future of, a real-life V-belt coverer? Are we talking like robots completely taking over?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something anyone considering this line of work should definitely be thinking about. But I don't think it's as simple as like, robots in, humans out.
Okay, so less about replacement, more about, what, adaptation.
Exactly. Think of it this way. As technology evolves, the role of a V-belt cover, it evolves too, right?
So instead of just running the machine, you're, what, programming the machine?
Exactly. Or you might be the one overseeing the whole process, making sure those robots are actually producing top quality work.
So, like the robot supervisor. I like it.
There you go. And all those core skills we keep coming back to, the attention to detail, the problem solving.
Understanding the materials, how it all works.
All of that, it becomes even more important in this new landscape.
Right, because the robots might be doing the, I don't know, the heavy lifting, but someone still needs to be the brains of the operation.
Exactly. Plus, there's that human element we talked about. Robots can't replicate that.
Like that gut feeling, that intuition.
Exactly. A robot's not going to spot a tiny imperfection that could, snowball into a huge problem later on.
That's a really good point.
So it becomes this, partnership,
Mm-hmm.
Humans and machines, each playing to their strengths.
Teamwork.
Exactly. And those are the kinds of skills that are going to be really sought after, that ability to collaborate, to communicate effectively, not just with other people, but with machines too.
Robot whisperer.
Exactly. So, for anyone out there who's maybe a little intimidated by all this talk about robots and automation,
Right, it could be kind of daunting.
it can. But I think the message here is don't shy away from it. Embrace it.
See it as an opportunity.
Exactly. A chance to level up those skills to become even more valuable in the workplace.
Become that V-belt cover of the future.
There you go.
I love it. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We really have.
And I got to say, I've learned a ton. We went from knowing practically nothing about V-belt covers to, we could probably apply for the job ourselves at this point.
Right. Who knew there was so much to it?
Seriously. And hopefully for anyone listening, it's sparked some curiosity.
Yeah, maybe open up some possibilities.
Exactly. Because, at the end of the day, that's what we're all about here, giving you the information, the insights, helping you connect the dots.
Exactly. We're like those career explorers out there mapping out the terrain.
And you, the listener, you're holding the map.
Beautifully said. So until next time, keep exploring, keep those career goals in sight.
And remember, there's a whole world of fascinating jobs out there, just waiting to be discovered.